In Cuba, a nation already struggling with enormous economic and social challenges, the imminent arrival of Hurricane Oscar brings a new level of fear. With winds reaching up to 139 kilometers per hour, the hurricane is expected to hit the island next Sunday, threatening to worsen an already desperate crisis. For more than 48 hours, much of the country has been without power, immersed in a widespread blackout, marking the worst energy crisis Cuba has experienced in 3 decades. The Cuban people, who are already facing a deep shortage of food and medicine, now fear that the situation will worsen dramatically as the storm approaches. On the streets, the uncertainty is palpable. We're in the dark, not just without light, but without knowing what tomorrow will bring, says Maria Hernandez, a mother of 2 young children who hasn't had access to fresh food for days due to the lack of refrigeration. Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel stated that authorities are working tirelessly to protect the population and the few remaining economic resources. In a message on social media, he urged calm and resilience as emergency teams try to prepare for the hurricane's impact. But for many, words of reassurance are not enough. The combination of the storm, ongoing power outages, rising prices, and inflation has turned life into a daily struggle for survival for millions of Cubans. The National Hurricane Center predicted torrential rains that could flood regions already affected by the energy crisis. The blackout left us without fans and running water, reports Isabel Rodriguez, a 72-year-old woman who described how the hot and humid nights make it impossible to sleep. It feels like we're just waiting for the final blow. Despite everything, the government reported some progress, with around 16% of the population having their power restored. However, this recovery is meager compared to the country's needs, which, before the blackout, consumed over 3,300 megawatts daily. Now, only 500 megawatts are being produced, revealing the severity of the crisis. The failure of the main thermoelectric plant in Matanzas, combined with a fuel shortage exacerbated by the long-standing U.S. economic embargo, has further complicated recovery efforts. As darkness engulfs Havana, frustrations become more apparent. Without power, we can't work, cook, study. It feels like life has stopped, comments Rafael Carrillo, a 41-year-old mechanic struggling to keep his business afloat. The deteriorating infrastructure and recurring blackouts have sparked historic protests as exhausted and disillusioned people search for answers. With Hurricane Oscar approaching, emotions oscillate between fear and resignation. Cuba, an island accustomed to challenges, now faces one of its darkest moments. But amid the darkness, the resilience of a people who, despite all adversities, continue to fight for a better future shines through. Without electricity, it's almost impossible to study, laments Ernesto, a young university student who can't connect with his family on the other side of the island. The hurricane may bring destruction, but the true burden Cubans carry is the uncertainty of a future that seems increasingly difficult to attain.